Session. This is episode 83. This time it's really episode 83. So the previous episode I did episode 83, but it was 82. So now it's really 83. So we continue on this series where we're mastering tracks. So previously we first composed those tracks. Second, we arrange and mix those tracks and actually put some extra work onto it to make it like complete finished releasable track. And now we're gonna master those tracks and they will actually be out on a compilation called Sessions on our label Progressive Grooves Records once I'm done with all of them, of course. And there's also a surprise that is coming for you guys if you're watching. I'm going to do a special package which I will include the template, the mastering session, and the composition, and I will do a little bit of mentoring with you guys. So if you guys are interested, check out the the tutorial session. I'm going to do like a special package with those 10 tracks that I'm doing now, where I'm going to offer you guys to work on the track for you, explain to you, do a chat and stuff like that, so you guys learn and get better producers. So, without further ado, we're going to master a techno track tonight. 124 BPM. The master, of course, is in 32 bits, very important. 96 kilohertz. This is how we set the DAW here. 96 kilohertz, 32 bits. And it is techno track. I don't know, for me it's a bit classic-y because of the sound. For you guys it will sound maybe like something else, because music is subject to opinions, you know, and sometimes a progressive track make the top hit of techno. So yeah, that's it. I'm using Waves plugins, strictly really the Waves plugins. I don't use anything else, and it is a chain that will also of course be available as a template on WeMakeDanceMusic.com. so when I'm done with this very project, it's gonna go online. You guys gonna be able to get it for $5, which I think is a very good deal to get a mastering chain plus a bit of a tutorial to use it. That's all you need, I think. So let's have a listen to the track a little bit. What I like the most about this track is those random vocal part that are through the track, and every time exported the vocals are different. So this is a new version and it's different than the previous one that when I was composing it, because the vocals are vocal cloud randomness. So I'm gonna go a little bit further. So I play with those blocks with the pitch shift. The bass is very techno-y. I try to keep it minimal, not too much. I have quite a bit of headroom to play with, as you can see here. Sorry. Let's do the headroom here. Make sure that we're maximizing the loudness to start with, if we have some room. For me, this is very classic-y techno, you know, but it depends on which era you're coming from, who you are listening to, so that's great. And here the percussions, then it builds up a little bit. Dark moment in every techno track, of course. Oh yeah, this part is what I was talking to you about. So the blocks are pitch shifted and they're all actually also filtered at the same time, so create this effect. Oh, I think we're clipping here. Alright, to start processing the mastering, I'm going to choose a part that is busy like this. Start setting up the chain. We start with this. This is only mostly for gain staging, you know, to make sure we have enough, and we are at 2.5, so we get 2.5 dB of gain here, so that's good. So when you master, when you mix, you leave a bit of room, and now I just recapture a little bit of that room. Right away we're going into this Rec 4 Renaissance AQ, or no, actually this is a VQ, it's a different line. It does have some noise, it has some character to me. It's hard to hear, it's not so audible, and I also use the phase function to it. To me, it put everything right where it belongs, and I boost a little bit at 180 of the low end, but it's so minimal you can barely hear it. You can choose between analog or digital master output somehow. Maybe the gain is different. Then I get a linear EQ, which I think for the sake of this track I will try to do a bit of EQing. I like this. I tend to, on track that I want to really work, I'm gonna put it a bit more narrow. Well, but then it's around 5-6K to drop a little bit to make the sound a bit cleaner, and then take the top end and bring it back a little bit over. So with, without. That tend to put the sound a little bit in a better dimension, and to cut to around 5K, 5, 6, 7K is a bit of a harsh frequency if you have too much. So I just did that a little bit. Let's just check the bass if we can. That's not necessary to do it this much, but maybe we want to give it a bit of more presence before we send it to an L2 right here. Gain a little bit of loudness here. 2 dB, that's it, not more. Then we're going into the first instance of LIN MB, which is a really open multi-electro mastering. It's the setting from Waves which I changed. I changed mostly the kick and the low end to preserve the punch, because it's very important to have a nice punchy track. And if you're wondering why I'm not using the speakers, I tried to use the speakers before and it's feeding back into the mic, and there's a delay between the recording of this and that, and it's a bit of a nightmare. I try to sync it, cannot do it, so I trust my ears, trust the mastering chain. Usually I would do listen on the speakers, bring it into the car, do some more testing, but for the sake of what I'm doing now for you guys, I have to keep it this way. So okay, back to this LIN MB. A little bit of gain reduction, not too much. That would be flat with the gain reduction. We're actually so we're able to gain a little bit of loudness and presence, without really raising the volume overall. So this is good. Then we're going into an API 2500, which for techno I will definitely use a bit harder here. Usually I use it quite moderately, without, with, maybe a bit less. But in this case, for a techno track, I will use it. SSLG channel, yes, it's a techno track. For me, techno has to be warm, has to have dimension. You need to have like a presence that is special. Always look at clipping in the gain staging here. So far so good. We still have a lot of bedroom to play with. Then we're going into a center, which is to put the sides where they belong. So I think we have some room to bring it up. Always leave some room, make sure there's no clipping from a plugin to another one. So without, with. So I'm gonna say it in every episode, this give you an illusion of a fuller, louder sound when it isn't. It just places it in the speaker in a different way, which is a process which I really don't understand just yet. It's a stereo field. It just worked. This is an amazing plugin. I've been using it for many years to make the track literally bigger. Then we're gonna go on a Kramer tape, which I use very lightly on this track at least. Maybe 3 dB. Where's the GR? How can I see the gain reduction? I think that's it, but I don't think I'm compressing 13 dB, but it's not a compression actually, it's just like a signal processing. Oh, flux. Anyway, I'm using it just slightly. And then I'm going to an SSL comp. I'm not going to use it much because I already used the API. The API have a very different character than this, so to me the API work a lot more in the low end, while this would glue the whole track together, all of the compressions, all of the frequencies included, while the API did more like to the low end, to the kick. So am I clipping? Oh yeah, I am clipping on the output of that. I'm gonna drop the gain here. The gain to 0, as a matter of fact. Minus 1.1, we're good. Let's see in the comeback here. Right here. Alright, we're good. Oh, no, we're not. A bit less. So this is the gain staging thing between this output, which is analog, which I don't have a reference on the output of this, and into the next plugin. I can see here that I'm clipping so ever slightly, but I don't want any of that because there's a very thin chance that there will be some artifacts created, so you don't want that. Again, second instance now of our LIN MB, like multiband processor. This time we're using a really tight opto setting, so I'm using it a little bit here, maybe a bit much, and then I'm using it yet again here, but again this is a very little. I'm not pushing it, I don't want to push it, I just want to just thicken the sound, just make it just like to perfection, so there's nothing sticking out. If it's on a speaker, it's gonna be good, the bass gonna hit right at the right place, and everything is gonna be like perfect. So that is one of the things that I started doing recently, to have 2 instances of this. I know some people don't like this plugin, they're like, shouldn't use that, but the guy that developed it surely are doing very well because they're waves and they're doing some good stuff that I use for 15 years now. So I'm gonna continue and close this mastering session with this beast. So I'm gonna open the track here to the start. So this is the final stage. This is to make everything loud. In techno, it isn't overall necessary. There's a lot of techno tracks that are out there that have been mastered well. So this is not EDM, this is not trance, this is techno. So we're gonna be careful not to smash the track out, I would say. This is how I would say it. So let's start where the kick is and let's go for it. So first step, put your 2 level to equal, then drop it. Once you start to see some gain reduction, it's because it's working. If you go very low, it's gonna destroy your track. So like I said, I want a bit of loudness. Let's look at our, but I don't want too much. I want this to be clean. See? Yeah, maybe a tiny bit more. So we stay mostly under minus 10 LUFS. We're good. I could really push it much further because the chain is made to incrementally raise the volume without affecting the program so much. There's still dynamic. It's not super pushed, but it forms some characters. It forms some nice chunky thickness, you know, to my opinion at least, guys. It's for you to judge. And of course the audio of this episode will not be touched, so I will just put some sidechain onto my voice so you can hear me speak over the music. But the output from the start until the end is not, so you can, if you're listening to this part now which is mastered, you can go back to the start, listen to the track, and you're gonna see there's a huge difference. So I'm gonna let it run a little bit for you guys so you guys can enjoy the work. I think we're done with it, so I'll let it run for a little bit. me, this is a typical techno breakdown. Bring everything down, make something that is a little bit creepy, you know, this scent there, and then let people just simmer on the dance floor, I would say. Make them hallucinate a little bit, you know. Then we're going back with this big bass, just like would shake a building. And then these blocks again with the rise. Love that bass, guys. So guys, this is it for episode 83 of the EDM session. If you like this track, the template's available on wemmakedancemusic.com. I don't even use a single plugin, it's only Logic. I also have how I compose this track for only $5. Different levels of this production. The final track will be out on Progressive Grooves Records in a compilation. It's called The Cells by me, Mikas. If you have a second, put on my name in Spotify. There's a lot of music, Apple Music, if you're in there. And that's it, guys. This is episode 83 of the EDM session. And of course, until next time, may the sound be with you guys.